What's up, people? Joe Winko here, your favorite Hawaiian guy, and this is my review on the most recent episode of the MTV series Scream. Let's get this party started. Okay, so spoiler alert if you're not yet caught up with the Scream series, or if you haven't been following it, they have the episodes posted on the MTV website. I'm not sure if they're going to have this episode posted, but the other 6 episodes, they have those posted on the MTV website. So you can check for yourself. I'll have the link to the MTV website in the description. This was the 7th episode of Scream, and it was titled In the Trenches. This was a very shocking episode, and I really liked it, and it was actually my favorite episode because of the dark and gloomy setting it took place in, the abandoned bowling alley. I thought it was really cool how they had that, and it made me wonder, how does this town have so many abandoned buildings that are so easily accessible? Like, they have the abandoned hospital, and now they have the abandoned bowling alley, and also they have the house of Brandon James, which is also abandoned, and I think it's creepy, but I think it's really cool too. So, as you all know, Will was kidnapped and held captive by Ghostface, and just as I expected, the killer was using Will as leverage to get to Emma, and I thought it was really creepy. The killer is manipulating Emma worse than the killer manipulated Sydney in Scream. It's really chilling how he just, like, plays with her mind. It almost seems like he's trying to make her go insane and not trust anyone. And he's doing a good job at that so far, but Emma's really tough, so she's not going to fall for it at all. I definitely think Brooke's dad did something bad to Brooke's mom, but I don't feel like it's all his fault. I think maybe what might be going on there, this is kind of unlikely, but this is just what I'm guessing. I think that Brooke's dad, his wife was killed by Ghostface, and Ghostface is making him cover up and erase all the evidence. And he's probably telling him, he's probably blackmailing him, and he says, if you don't do what I say, I will kill Brooke, or if you tell Brooke about anything, I'll kill her. So Brooke's dad could be doing all that just to protect Brooke. It's very unlikely, but it is possible. And eventually the reporter, Piper, she tells Emma that Will was kidnapped, and because she was there with Will when Will was turning over the video of Emma's dad and all the money he gave Will, the blackmail money. And it seemed like Piper was kind of suspicious because, like, she was all nervous while she was telling her this. And when she brought Emma to the warehouse, and they saw, like, written on the, I don't think it was written in human blood, but, like, smeared on the walls was no cops. And I really think that Emma should have listened to that because, oh, well, we'll get to that soon. But first, one thing that stood out to me was no one noticed that Will was taken and that Will was missing. Because I'm assuming he was taken the night before, but still, when he didn't show up at school the next day, no one was noticed that he wasn't there. It didn't seem like anyone noticed except for the kids themselves, like Emma, Brooke, and Jake. Even Emma didn't really notice until Piper told her. So I thought that was kind of weird. And Brooke also exposed Piper to her dad, because she was saying that Piper was there and she knew that Will was blackmailing her because Piper was there. And I really think that if her dad, I don't think her dad's the killer, but if her dad really is the killer, I think Piper might be in danger. And if Piper ends up as the next victim to Ghostface, then I'll definitely suspect that the killer is Brooke's dad, if the killer is not a ghost of Brandon James. But I kind of think that the killer is the same person who killed the 5 people back in the 1994 Lakewood massacre. But that could still be that could also be Brooke's dad, but we won't know until the end for sure. So Noah, Jake, and Brooke and Emma, they traced Will's phone signal to the abandoned bowling alley, and the killer was waiting there. And it's almost like the killer knew that Noah was smart enough to trace that. So I think the killer might be someone who knows Noah and someone who's close enough to him to know that he's that smart to figure out technology that good. But I think neither way, even if Noah wasn't able to trace Will's phone, I think the killer would have told Emma to come to the bowling alley anyway. But Emma brought all her friends with her. When they get there, they decide to split up, because it's Noah, Emma, Brooke, and Jake. They decide to split up. Emma goes with Noah, and Brooke goes with Jake, and I thought that was a really, really bad idea. And I don't think Noah is the killer at all. I really don't think he is, because the killer did try to attack him when they found Will tied up, and when Noah opened the door, the killer did lunge at him, but the killer didn't get him, though, because they were holding the door shut. And when I saw the killer behind Brooke, because in the trailer I saw Brooke turning around and screaming at something, when I saw the killer behind Brooke, I didn't think she would turning around screaming at the killer. I thought she was going to find one of the kids' bodies, one of the characters' bodies. I didn't think she would look at the killer. I was like, oh no, Brooke is a goner. But then Brooke ran off, and the killer didn't even seem to chase her at all. He turned his head and ran the other way. And I kept thinking that Brooke was going to die in that episode, but I really didn't want her to die in that episode, because I'm actually starting to like Brooke's character now. Because she's not really a slut, she is kind of bitchy. Well, she is kind of a slut because she's having an affair with her teacher. But I'm starting to like Brooke now. I think the show is trying to get us attached to Brooke, so when she does end up dying, we all feel bad for her. Because even back in episode 1, I thought she was going to die. When she went out to the garage and all the lights were turned off, I thought the killer was going to jump out and stab her. But also, the character Lorraine, who was the detective who suspected that Audrey was the killer, the sheriff said that she quit. And I was a little disappointed in that, because I really wanted to see Lorraine die in this episode. She didn't appear in this episode at all, but I really wanted to see Lorraine die, because I wanted it to be, because I highly doubt Audrey's the killer, and because also in the trailer for the next episode, we see Audrey being attacked by the killer. So I definitely don't think the killer is Audrey. I think it's one of the adults, or a ghost. I don't even think it's a ghost of Brandon James, but it could be possible. I want to see Lorraine die just to show that, like, she was really stuck up and arrogant and thought she was going to solve this case, but she was on the wrong track the whole entire time, and that was going to get her killed. That's how I thought she was going to die, that she was going to follow the kids into the bowling alley and the killer would jump out and start stabbing her to death. But that did not happen in this episode. But that would have been really cool if it did, so I don't know, I have a dark mind. But eventually, Brooke finds Jake injured in the bowling alley. He has a knife jammed in his chest. And because of that, I really don't think Jake is the killer. But if Jake really is the killer, and if he jammed the knife in his chest just to make himself look innocent, like make himself look like he was the victim, then he has a really disturbed and a really sadistic mind if he was harming himself to that extent to make himself look innocent. And I think he has serious mental problems if he really did do that to himself. But we don't know that yet. Eventually, the sheriff shows up, all the police show up, everyone in the bowling alley survives so far, and I really thought that Will was going to die from a stab wound injury, because he seemed really weak from it, but Emma taped him up with some duct tape, and somehow that managed to keep him alive. And I was disappointed when I saw them all survive. I was like, what the hell? I wanted to see someone die, because we haven't had anyone die since episode 3. But I watched the last few minutes of it. Even on Instagram, MTV said, watch the last few minutes of the episode. We promised you guys someone would die. What happens next is, hopefully you all already seen the episode, but that scene when Emma comes over and then she accidentally runs over the tripwire and that machine slices into Will's head and blood squirts all over her. That was absolutely terrifying and that was absolutely shocking. But I thought to myself, wouldn't Will be more, like, self-aware and more, like, aware of his surroundings after he'd been kidnapped? But I really think that he was so happy and so relieved to be rescued that he didn't think it could happen again, but it really did. And especially in the broad daylight, the killer comes to his house, ties him up outside, and he gets his head sawed in by the machine. And I thought it was so creepy. And then Emma's splattered with blood and everything. And before the episode aired, I saw that picture on Facebook on Team Sidney Prescott. It reminded me of Sally Harvesty from Texas Chainsaw Massacre when she had blood all over her. Seeing Emma covered in blood reminded me of Sally Harvesty when she was covered in blood, and I thought it was a really grisly death, and I knew that it wasn't going to be Emma's own blood, so I was also right about that. It was going to be the blood of someone else who gets killed, and I really think that Emma's going to blame herself for Will's death, but she's going to get over it. She's going to want to find the killer. It seems like in the trailer for the next episode, everyone was all freaked out, everyone's all scared again because someone else finally died, and they all feel like their life is still in danger. And it looks like there's a party going on. And it looks like the killer is gonna crash the party and butcher a whole bunch of people. Just like the original 1996 Scream, but everyone at that party left. So I think that might happen in the next episode. Everyone left except for the main characters, and they'll be in danger. And I really think Brooke is going to get killed with the teacher she's having an affair with. I think they're both going to get killed together, like Jeff and Sandra from Friday the 13th Part 2. But we never know. And also, I think the sheriff is going to die because we see in the trailer, we see the killer behind the sheriff, and he whacks the sheriff with I'm not sure what it was. It was like a metal bar that he whacks the sheriff with. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be really good. And I'm really excited to see how the series is going to end, and really excited to see who will die next. I want to see the killer wearing his costume killing someone, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see that in the season finale. There's still 3 episodes left, though, and I'm excited to see them. So, yeah, that's it. That's what I thought about episode 7 of the MTV series, Scream. It's my favorite episode so far, but I think the finale episodes will probably beat that. So, yeah, make sure to comment and share your thoughts, because the whole point of my videos is to start a conversation with you guys. What stood out to you in episode 7 of MTV Scream? What stood out to you? And I'll comment back and we can talk about that in the comments. So yeah, please make sure to do that. So don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and don't forget to subscribe to my main channel too. So that's it. Peace out, people.